Brain of Britain, the nationwide general knowledge contest, chaired by Russell Davis.
Hello and thank you. There are still a handful of places in our 2022 Brain of Britain semi-finals up for grabs, and we're in London today at the Radio Theatre with another 4 contenders hoping they can make it through. And we'll lose no time in meeting them.
Hello, I'm Catherine Bates. I lead a quiet life in West London.
Hello, I'm Crispin Dawes. I'm a retired cleaner and I live in North London.
Hello, I'm Jo McLeod. I'm an opera house usher and charity volunteer from East Sussex.
Hello, my name is Henry Mail and I'm a solicitor from Somerset.
Welcome all of you. I should re-emphasise, as I often do before the contest, that it really is worth trying for every point you can get. A stab in the dark costs you nothing, and many a victory has been secured by a lucky guess. Good luck, everyone. We start, for the time-honoured alphabetical reasons, with your first question, Catherine Bates. In music, if a piece required a violinist to play pizzicato, what would they be doing?
Plucking the strings.
Yes, as opposed to using the bow. Port Louis, that's Port, P-O-R-T, Louis, serves as the capital city of which island nation in the Indian Ocean?
Mauritius.
Yes. The grave, the star, the cauldron, the vampire, the sunroof, and the Corsican, which is used in the stage version of Alexandre Dumas' story, The Corsican Brothers, are all different types of what feature of a theatre?
Trapdoor for getting onto stage.
Absolutely right. Well done.
Where that came from?
I'd never heard of this.
No, me neither.
Using a Corsican trap to create the effect of a ghost gliding diagonally through the stage, The Corsican Brothers was arguably the first theatrical production for which the stage machinery was the main selling point. One of the very few in existence can be seen now at the Gaiety Theatre in Douglas on the Isle of Man. What was the name of the ship that brought the news of Nelson's victory in the Battle of Trafalgar to Britain?
The Antwerp.
No. Henry Mail?
Swiftsure?
Nope. Yes, Jo McLeod?
Endeavour?
No. That's a fair guess. Yes, Crispin Dawes?
Bellerophon?
No. It was HMS Pickle. I'd love to be able to say that she was under the command of Captain Branston, but no. An officer with the alarmingly French name of Captain La Penotière was in charge. And now, Crispin Dawes, it's your turn. The novel sequence known as La Comédie Humaine, presenting a panorama of French life in the post-Napoleonic period, is generally viewed as the magnum opus of which 19th century writer?
Balzac.
Yes, Honoré de Balzac. In a game of polo, the period of play known as a chukker lasts for how long?
7.5 minutes.
Exactly, which sounds odd until you remember that 4 of those make up half an hour. What event did Peter Pan say sounded like an awfully big adventure?
Growing up.
No. Jo McLeod?
Death.
Yes, to die. Jo McLeod, it's your question. Which fabric is made from the flax plant?
Linen.
Yes. Fountains Abbey, a still beautiful Cistercian monastic ruin, can be found in which English county?
Yorkshire.
We have to be more precise than that these days.
North.
North Yorkshire is the right one, yes. It's near Ripon. A date accorded some significance in his work. Which writer believed himself to have been conceived on the 24th of June, 1801?
Aldous Huxley?
No. Crispin Dawes?
Dickens?
No. Yes, Henry Mail?
Byron?
No. One more guess. Yes, Catherine Bates?
Jonathan Swift.
No, it was Victor Hugo. The date inspired the number 24601, assigned to the prisoner Jean Valjean in his masterwork Les Misérables. Henry Mail now. Which senior British Army officer was appointed Secretary of State for War in 1914?
Lord Kitchener.
Yes. On the London Underground, what three-word phrase serves an equivalent function to the one performed on the Osaka Metro by Tsukimamori, a mythical purple one-eyed lizard monster?
Mind the Gap.
Yes. Tsukimamori was created by the West Japan Railway Company with a name based on the Japanese for Mind the Gap. The monster is said to be as large as 10 children and inhabits the space between the train and the platform edge. The maxim, better it is to get wisdom than gold, is inscribed above the original front entrance doors to which ornate building and tourist attraction in London?
Westminster Abbey.
No. Joe McLeod knows.
British Museum?
No. Worth a guess? No. It's the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum. It comes from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16. And that is the end of the first round, with the scores very close. Henry Mayle has 2, Crispin Dawes has 2, Joe McLeod has 3, Catherine Bates has 3. Very good, and it's back to you, Catherine Bates, and there's a piece of music with your next question. You're about to hear La Monnaie Chamber Orchestra with a 2022 excerpt from an English chamber opera composed by Benjamin Britten with libretto by Mvanwe Piper. When you've heard it, I'd like you to name the opera.
Miss, a letter for you.
The Turn of the Screw.
Is right. We heard the letter from Act 1. Crispin, Cartland, and Gala are all varieties of what?
Apple.
Yes. What American city has used the tourism tagline, "What happens here, stays here"?
Las Vegas.
Yes, also rendered as "What happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas." That's the version I've heard most. But Sin City dropped it in 2020 in favor of the more innocuous "What happens here, only happens here." And now, dactylian is the medical name for the tip of which specific finger?
Index.
No. Crispin Dawes?
Middle.
The middle finger, the third finger, yes, that's right. Your question now. In 2022, Diana Ross performed in the UK at the Jubilee celebrations and for the crowds at Glastonbury. 2022 also marks the 50th anniversary of her role as the jazz singer Billie Holiday. In which film?
Lady Sings the Blues.
That's right. Which modern punctuation mark is also known as the octothorpe?
Infinity sign? No.
No. Catherine Bates, though?
Hash.
Hashtag, yes. Joe McLeod's turn. In Nordic mythology, what is Yggdrasil?
The tree that spans between Asgard and the rest of the world.
Yes, it's an immense sacred tree around which exist the 9 worlds, yes. Do you remember what sort of tree it was? Doesn't matter.
Oak.
No, it was an ash, actually, but never mind. The Last Kingdom, The Burning Land, and 1356 are among the many novels of which London-born writer of adventure stories.
Bernard Cornwell.
It is. Which word, derived from the Latin for to till, describes a plant variety bred originally from a wild species, but which differs from it as a result of deliberate selection?
Wheat.
No. Catherine Bates?
Cereal.
No. Crispin Dawes?
Arable?
No. No more? No. It's a cultivar. Cultivar, yes. Henry Mayle's turn. In July 2022, when Boris Johnson faced his final Prime Minister's questions, he signed off at the Commons dispatch box by quoting a catchphrase of Arnold Schwarzenegger, used in the 1991 movie Terminator 2: Judgment Day. What was that line?
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.
Baby.
Baby, yes. That's the complete version, yes. Durban, the busiest port in South Africa, is on which ocean?
The Indian Ocean.
It is. In a flame test, which colour of flame demonstrates the presence of potassium?
Yellow.
No. Catherine Bates?
Pink.
No. Crispin Dawes?
Mauve, purple.
Yes. I'll give you that, yes. I'm given here the choice of lilac, violet, or lavender, but I think you're so much in the right area. We'll give you that. And that's the end of another round. Henry Mayle has 4. Joe McLeod and Crispin Dawes, 5 apiece. Catherine Bates, 7. Nobody left behind in this group. Catherine Bates, we return to you. The Terracotta Army is a collection of ancient sculptures depicting the armies of the first emperor of which country?
China.
Yes. On his BBC Two radio shows, the late broadcaster Terry Wogan regularly satirized which series of children's books by reading out innuendo-laden adult stories in the style of the originals.
Janet and John.
Yes, the joke was that the stories purported to be the misadventures of the programme's regular newsreader, John Marsh. Perhaps because John is a passionate organist, I don't know. The site of the 1805 Battle of Austerlitz, also known as the Battle of the Three Emperors, and a major success for Napoleon Bonaparte, is in which modern-day country?
Austria.
No. Henry Mayle.
The Czech
The
Republic.
Czech Republic, exactly right, yes. And Crispin Dawes, here's some music for you. This is the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy from the ballet The Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky. I'd like you to tell me the name of the keyboard instrument that provides the distinctive tinkling notes in this piece.
The Celeste.
Yes, or Celesta with an A. In physics, what is the Mpemba effect? M-P-E-M-B-A.
Pass.
Right. Any guesses? We don't know the effect. Okay. It's a process whereby hot water can freeze faster than cold water. It's named after a Tanzanian schoolboy, Erasto Bartolomea Mpemba, who noticed that a warm mixture his class were using to make ice cream froze sooner than the colder version of the mixture. Joe McLeod. The BBC One television series Case Histories is an adaptation of a collection of novels by Kate Atkinson about which detective?
Jackson Brodie.
With Jason Isaacs in the lead role, yes. Depicting a horseman in a cloak galloping through a meadow, which painting by Vasily Kandinsky shares its name with a German art movement that lasted from 1911 to 1914, fundamental to Expressionism.
The Blue Rider or the Blau Reiter.
The Blauer Reiter, the Blue Rider, exactly, yes. What was the name of the female American mathematician who died in 2020, aged 101, and was noted, among many other things, for calculating the trajectory of the Apollo 11 flight, landing 3 men on the moon in 1969?
I don't know.
Right. Catherine Bates?
Catherine Harris.
No. Crispin Dawes?
Emmy Noether.
Nope. No more guesses. Catherine Harris was close. Catherine Johnson, she was, actually. From White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, where school education was not available to African Americans beyond the 8th grade. Nevertheless, she achieved top-class degrees in mathematics and French at the age of 18. A brain of America, if ever there was one. Henry Mayle now. According to the lyrics of the Kinks' song Waterloo Sunset, which 2 people meet every Friday night at Waterloo Station?
I don't know.
Right. Crispin Dawes.
Terry and Julie.
Terry and Julie, who reappear at the end of the song, where they're in paradise, gazing on the Waterloo sunset. End of another round. Score still close. Henry Mayle, 5 points. Joe McLeod and Crispin Dawes, 7 apiece. Catherine Bates, 9. So, let's give our contestants a breather and ask them to suspend their rivalry for a few minutes and work as a team. I've a pair of questions here that have been sent to us by regular listener Jonathan Harvey, who's hoping that his ideas might stump our brains, because if they do, he'll be winning himself a book voucher prize. Jonathan asks first, the much-loved actress June Brown died in April 2022, probably best known for her very durable role as Dot Cotton in EastEnders. But which other long-running TV soap did she appear in?
Any ideas?
I'd be guessing completely. I don't
Last
know.
of the Summer Wine, something like that?
Probably Coronation
Any ideas?
Street or something along those lines.
No,
Crossroads.
Coronation Street is quite a good idea, because that's been going a long, long time.
Well, shall we try Corrie?
I'll go for
Corrie?
Yeah. Why not?
Coronation Street.
And that is the answer of you all?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
You're right. In which she played Mrs. Parsons as long ago as 1970 to 71.
Of course she did.
Her involvement in EastEnders spanned 36 years, but her acting credits also included Doctor Who, The Duchess of Duke Street, Z-Cars, Dixon of Dock Green, and several plays for today. Well, following on from that, here's Jonathan's second question. June Brown appeared in the 1973 Doctor Who serial The Time Warrior. It was the story that marked the debut of the Sontarans, who became quite regular adversaries of the Doctor. But which other popular character who was to return many years later and have her own spin-off series made her first appearance in that same story? And who played her?
That'd be Sarah Jane.
That's Sarah Jane.
Elizabeth Sladen. Can't remember
Elizabeth
the
Yes,
character's
that's right.
surname.
Elizabeth Sladen.
Elizabeth Sladen,
Yep,
yeah.
that's it. Because the Sarah Jane Adventures was the TV spin-off.
Yes.
So Sarah
And it was Elizabeth Sladen.
Yeah.
The
Sarah
actress's
Jane
name.
No.
Smith.
Smith is right. The journalist companion of the Doctor, played by, as you say, Elizabeth Sladen. Well, thank you for your questions, Jonathan, but commiserations on not quite being able to outwit the brains today. They were on great form, so we can't provide you, I'm afraid, with your book voucher prize. I think we all agree, though, from our brains and our audience here at the Radio Theatre, you've earned this unearthly monster of a round of applause. Please do send us your suggestions for this part of the programme whenever they occur to you. We'll accept them by email at any hour of the day or night and any time of the year. Just send them to brainofbritain@bbc.co.uk. Let's get thumbs back on buttons then as we resume the contest proper with your next question, Catherine Bates. Released in 1976, Derek and Clive Live was the debut comedy record of Derek and Clive, the often foul-mouthed personae created by which comedy duo?
Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Is right. Which type of soft wool gets its name from the northernmost region of the Indian subcontinent?
Kashmir.
Yes. On the penultimate day of 1945, the SS Tilapa arrived at Avonmouth with what rare and precious post-war cargo?
Bottles of whiskey.
No. Henry Mayle.
Bananas.
Bananas is the correct answer, yes. There were 10 million of them. Crispin Dawes, we've come round to you again. The Scottish novelist, historian and unionist politician John Buchan was appointed Governor-General of which country in 1935?
Canada.
Yes. A Surrey grammar school head teacher named Sean Fenton is the son of a 1970s glam rock star who once performed under the name of Shane Fenton, but became better known by which stage name?
Alvin Stardust.
Yes, he did. I remember Shane Fenton and the Fentones, though. One of the stadium torchbearers at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, Gina Hemphill, was the granddaughter of which man who had been a 4 times Olympic gold medal winner 48 years earlier?
Jesse Owens.
Yes, who won the 100 metres, 200 metres long jump and 4x100 metres relay. Well done. When war broke out in 1939, The clown Charlie Caroli was performing at the Blackpool Tower Circus for the first time. Why did he walk to the end of the North Pier and throw a watch into the Irish Sea?
It was made in Germany.
No. Possibly was, but that's not the full answer. No more. Because, this is the answer, because he had been given the watch by Adolf Hitler when performing in Munich earlier that same year. And Charlie lived and performed in Blackpool for most of the rest of his life. Joe McLeod, music accompanies your next question, and it's a highlight from a broadcast from the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, heard on the BBC Radio 3 series Opera on 3 in 2022. This love duet by Puccini is performed by the Armenian soprano Liana Harutunian and the British-Italian tenor Freddie De Tomaso. Can you identify the opera?
Quella dea alle parole appaga gli ardenti desiri.
La Bohème.
No. Catherine Bates.
Madam Butterfly.
Yes, Madame Butterfly. That duet providing a lighter moment in the tragic story of Cho-Cho-san and Lieutenant Pinkerton. Henry Mayle now. According to legend, the Trojan War began when the beautiful Greek princess Helen was kidnapped by which Trojan prince?
Paris.
Yes, the son of King Priam of Troy and his queen Hecuba. 60 Pages of Grey, Sir Clear Starmer, and Chat Hancock are 2022 episodes of which BBC podcast and television series presented by Chris Mason and Adam Fleming.
Newscast.
Newscast, looking at the week's political events, you're right. Which recipient of the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 1908 was president of the Royal Society between 1925 and 1930?
I don't know.
Catherine Bates.
Rutherford.
Ernest Rutherford. Well done, yes. A point to you to finish that round. Amazing scores these are, too. Joe McLeod, 7 points. Henry Mayle, 8. Crispin Dawes, 10. Catherine Bates, 13. I think this is your last chance because this has to be the final round, folks. And we come to Catherine Bates first. Inspired by Petronella Ortmann's Doll's House on display at the Rijksmuseum, what was the 2014 debut novel of the writer Jessie Burton, set in 17th century Amsterdam?
The Miniaturist.
That's right. El Cerro del Arripo is the highest mountain of which country, the southernmost island country in the Caribbean?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct answer, yes. Which acid is found naturally in grapes and bananas?
Citric.
No. Joe McLeod?
Potassium.
No. Crispin Dawes?
Sorry, it's gone.
Okay. Henry Mayle going to have a go?
Sulfuric.
No, it's We'd all be in a bad way if that were the case. No, it's tartaric. It's salt, potassium bitartrate, commonly known as cream of tartar, develops naturally in the process of fermentation. Crispin Dawes, broadcasting on the BBC Light programme in the years following the Second World War, which radio personality co-hosted two-way family favourites with Cliff Mitchellmore?
Jean Metcalfe.
Yes, she linked British troops stationed in West Germany with their families back home. In what type of structure would you find a Schottky defect?
Bell Tower.
No. Yes, Catherine Bates.
A bridge.
No.
Church roof.
No, Joe McLeod, it's not a church roof. I think you may have all been misled a bit by the word structure. It's a crystal. It's in a crystal. It refers to a space in a crystal lattice from which an atom or ion is missing. Joe McLeod, then, how is Chlorophytum commosum, a species of evergreen perennial flowering plant of the family Asparagaceae, better known?
Asparagus?
No. Henry Mayle.
Spider plant?
It is the spider plant, yes, also known as spider ivy, ribbon plant, and hen and chickens. Henry Mayle's turn. Here's something for you from the BBC's Sound Archives. It's a recording of one of J.B. Priestley's postscripts to the news. Can you identify the historic event he's reporting on and the year it took place?
We've known them and laughed at them, these fussy little steamers, all our lives. They seem to belong to the same ridiculous holiday world as Pierrots and piers, sandcastles, ham and egg teas, palmists, automatic machines, and crowded, sweating promenades. But they were called out of that world, and let it be noted, they were called out in good time and good order. Some of them, alas, will never return.
It's the evacuation from Dunkirk in 1940.
Precisely right, yes. Rod Hull was well known for his partnership with Emu, but which British comedian had a long association with a costume prop known as Oswald the Ostrich?
Gilbert Evans.
No. Oh, yes, Catherine Bates?
Arthur Askey?
Nope. No, it's Bernie Clifton. They were together since the 1970s, and Bernie now refers to himself as a retired ostrich jockey. And with that, we've run out of time, sadly, meaning that the final scores are these. Joe McLeod, 7 points. Henry Mayle, 10 points. Crispin Dawes, 11. Catherine Bates, 15. Very well-deserved applause. It's Catherine Bates, whom we'll be seeing again in the semi-finals a few weeks from now. But remember, we also keep back 4 places in the semi-finals for the top-scoring runners-up, so there is a good chance that Crispin Dawes might be returning too, depending on how the scores go in the 2 remaining heats. Join us again next time for the penultimate heat of Brain of Britain 2022. Goodbye.